Hi, I'm Abigayle.
Hi, I'm Whitney.
We're here to answer some of your questions about teacher training.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we just want to tell you a little bit about ourselves first. So I am a teacher here in Denver. I've been practicing with CorePower for about 7 years. I did teacher training about 3 years ago, and I've been teaching ever since. Now I get to lead teacher trainings.
I am also a teacher here in Denver. I have been practicing with CorePower for about 8 years. I have been teaching with CorePower for about 4 years now, and I also have the wonderful privilege of leading teacher trainings as well.
Awesome, let's dive in. Awesome.
Okay, I'll go first.
Okay.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, what finally made you sign up for TT?
So I did teacher training my last semester of college. I was kind of in that standpoint of what am I wanting to do with my life? And I knew that yoga was what made me happiest, and I wanted to figure out how to spread that happiness to the world, kind of that sunshine I felt when I entered and left the studio. So that's kind of what made me decide it was time for some teacher training. Get that job. Yeah.
That sounds so great. I love that.
How about you?
I actually went through a really bad breakup.
Okay.
And it was in this change of all life things. I decided to run a half marathon, and I actually got injured. And in that process of training, I decided to go back to yoga, my mat, and it was CorePower. And I was like, oh yeah. I've always had this thought of becoming a teacher, an instructor, because like you, I really wanted to help people. And so that kind of compelled me and pushed me into teacher training.
I love it. Yeah. Awesome. Okay, here's another question. Is teacher training only for advanced yogis, or can newbies participate too?
Ooh, yeah. Teacher training is for everyone. You do not have to be an advanced yogi in order to do teacher training, because in teacher training, you actually get deeper in your own practice, and you get to discover how you can continue to grow. And, yoga is a practice. It's not perfection. We don't need to be these crazy, bendy, flexy, I can do handstands every day. Because I can't do handstands still. Can't do handstands.
Yeah, and I totally remember that fear. I remember thinking I'm not a good enough yogi, I'm not in good enough shape for this, and then you enter the space and it's just like, oh, this is what I was meant to be, no matter what I'm feeling right now. So it's for everybody.
Exactly.
For sure. Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. With a full-time job, is it possible to do TT and teach yoga?
Absolutely. I would say for the most part, most of our teachers do have full-time jobs. They do teacher training while they have their full-time jobs. You learn amazing time management while you're doing that. Most of our teacher trainings are in the evenings or on the weekends, so it works with your full-time job schedule. And then you can teach all around your full-time job, I would say, for sure.
Exactly. I agree 100%.
Awesome.
100%.
Okay, what is the most challenging part of teacher training, would you say?
I think it was the physical aspect of it. It's a time commitment, and it is an investment, yet it is still a good investment. I remember my body started to feel tired, but I was also in the best shape of my life during teacher training. I was like, I'm on fire. I feel so good.
Yeah.
So, I think just, time commitment for me.
I completely agree. Time commitment is huge. It also taught me so much time management, especially being a senior in college. It was like, this is what I actually want to be spending my time doing. So I learned what I was passionate about, what was important to me, while I was committing a lot of time and putting all I could into it, for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And even if when you are committing time, you still feel so good when you come out of TT. I remember I was just I just was so happy and just felt so connected to all my fellow TTers, and was like, this is so worth it. It doesn't even matter.
Yes, completely agree. How did you choose which studio to do your teacher training at when you did it?
So I chose based off of which location was the closest to me. I lived pretty far from most of the studios that did offer a teacher training, so I just did the closest studio. What about you?
Awesome. I would say definitely studio that was close to me helped. I had teachers that were mentors for me throughout all of my college experience, and they inspired me so much, and I was like, oh my gosh, I think I want your job. And so once I knew that they were leading teacher training and they were going to be my mentors, I was very excited to do it there at that studio.
That's awesome. I love that. Were you nervous about TT before you started?
I was. I'm not going to lie, I was. But it truly, anytime you walk foot into a CorePower, you feel at home instantly when you're taking class. And I didn't know if that was going to feel different going to teacher training. Again, I didn't know if it was going to be all advanced yogis. And I remember walking in and instantly being like, oh, I have no reason to be nervous.
Right.
I feel so good. I feel so at home. It felt great to me, but I was nervous. Not gonna lie about that.
Me too. Me too. I am a naturally shy human. And so put me in a room of a lot of people that I don't know, I will stick to the corner and not talk to anybody. But the first night at TT, I walked in and it was just like everybody was chatting, getting to know each other, and I just felt so warm and so welcoming. And I was like, okay, this is gonna be good.
Yeah.
It's gonna be okay.
Yep. I love it. Perfect.
What are the requirements and documentation I need to get into TT?
So to get into teacher training, you don't need anything. You can just show up with a smile, honestly. That's what you need. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's it.
Awesome.
You and your smile.
Perfect. Or you can come not smiling, I guess. You don't have to have that either. You just need to come. What's the difference between 200-hour and 500-hour teacher training?
So I think the biggest difference that we start to look at in 200-hour and 500-hour is most places that you need to teach, and at least at CorePower, in order for you to teach at CorePower, you do need a 200-hour teacher certification. I think most people start off with a 200-hour certification, and then once you start teaching, you realize that you want more knowledge and you want to dive deeper into your training. So the 500-hour is kind of the next step, because you do go deeper into the yogi philosophies, you get deeper into anatomy, into more advanced postures and physical assists. So
I love that. And all those things are touched in the 200-hour training as well.
Exactly.
So it's just more hours to dive deeper, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a great one. Did you actually feel ready to teach once you were done with teacher training?
Yes, actually. I was that person that was like signed up for TT, went through all of it and was like, okay, let's go. I want to teach. I want to do this. I want to learn and grow. So I did, not to say that I wasn't nervous, because I was, but the thing that's so fantastic about CorePower and teaching for CorePower is that they give you that opportunity to kind of find your grounding and your footing and your space as an instructor, so that you have that like space of grace to have your little hiccups and moments to be like, oh, okay, maybe that song didn't work in that playlist, or maybe I need to use this type of cue differently.
To be a human being.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you get to be human.
It's great. I feel the exact same way. And I think the great thing about teacher training is you kind of get out of it what you put into it. So if you go into it with this concept of I want to teach right after this, and you put a lot of practice and hard work into it while you're in teacher training, you will leave that program and be so ready to teach. There's a lot of people that might decide they don't want to be a teacher, and that's awesome too. They're still going to get so many benefits from it.
Yeah, exactly. There's so many people that I have actually led through teacher training that they tell me like they don't want to teach, and they may not teach at the end of it, but they look at me and tell me how beneficial this was for them, and that it changed their life, and like truly it is a complete life changer.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Love it. Oh, okay. Inversions terrify me. Me too. Does TT help you work on tough poses?
Yeah, so inversions terrify me too. It's not my strong suit. Again, that idea of, is this only for advanced yogis? Definitely not. I would say you learn such a fundamental aspect of yoga that shows your alignment, it shows your anatomy going on in your own body, and truly you're doing a lot of yoga while you're there, so your body is getting so much stronger. If you have specific inversions, you're like, I am working on these, your body, you're going to be so much more aware of it, and you have the ability to get into those. I would say it's not a huge aspect that we're working on. We're not doing handstands the whole time for our teacher training. Unfortunately, maybe, but it's definitely something that you can continue to grow on through your time.
I completely agree. It gives you the foundation and the basis of building upon more advanced poses and how you start to build into the advanced postures, and you can start to work on layers is what I started to find, because I did want to work on inversions as soon as I went through teacher training, and you do learn how to teach CorePose. And that is actually a very difficult pose in itself.
Yeah.
And so learning that posture actually is like a good foundation to start working on bigger inversions and handstands and forearm stand and side crow and hurdlers and all of the above that you could think of. So I think it's just still so beneficial to learn the mindfulness throughout teacher training to figure out how to get into these advanced postures.
Completely. Okay, what is your absolute favorite thing about teacher training?
Absolute favorite thing about teacher training? Honestly, it's the amount of growth. Like for me, I stepped into teacher training as this person who is pretty insecure and didn't really love myself. And I stepped out of TT as a person who really loved myself. And so that for me was totally transformational. I would not be the person I am today if it weren't for teacher training. And so seeing that in other people and being an encourager for students in their journey in teacher training is the magic, I think, of teacher training. You know?
Goosebumps, yes. I feel the exact same. I feel like when I stepped foot into teacher training, I don't think I had ever really publicly spoke, and you were in the best way possible thrown into public speaking about yoga. Like what better place to talk about out loud to everyone. And I think my favorite part was truly diving into this genuine family that we have. The second you walk in, you feel like your teacher training crew, your leads, everyone a part of it, you're a part of this family, and you get to build that overwhelming joy in that space together. And now getting to give that gift as a teacher training lead is such a special thing to pass on, for sure.
I love that, yes.
Yeah.
Thanks. Okay. I only take Sculpt and would like to teach. Should I stick with a Sculpt teacher training?
Okay, so I was actually in this exact same boat. I went through all of my time when I first started with CorePower pretty much only doing Sculpt. I love Sculpt. I played sports my whole life, so that really high intensity, lots of energy, dance party feel felt great to me. And so I knew that I wanted to do Sculpt teacher training. That's what I wanted to do without knowing much about power, to be honest. So for me personally, it was a great leeway into power by doing Sculpt first because it was what I was so passionate about. After I did Sculpt teacher training, I was like, holy guacamole, I want to dive a little bit deeper into this. So power got me into it. I will say being on the other side, and I think you can speak to this too, going into to Sculpt teacher training with a power background is very beneficial as well.
Yeah, I'd agree because I did do the other step of it because I did take a lot of Sculpt when I first started coming to CorePower. I mean, I love it too. It's like, it's so much fun.
Yeah.
I did sign up for the 200 hour to begin and started teaching for a little while before I did Sculpt teacher training. And so I think there's honestly benefits to both sides of it. To teach at CorePower, either training works. You can take either training to teach at CorePower. If you take Sculpt training, you will teach Sculpt. If you take power training, you will teach power. The best part about it all is that there's always trainings running. So whether you do Sculpt or whether you do power and you have the interest to do the other one, it's there for you to do.
Yes, and one might dive you straight into the other one.
Yep,
most definitely.
Exactly. Okay. What is the time commitment for TT?
Our Sculpt teacher training is 5 weeks.
So Sculpt teacher training is 5 weeks, and we do offer the extensions program after. That is an additional 4 weeks as well, so it will be about 9 weeks total.
Yep.
For power teacher training, I know that you do meet for 4 sessions for 3.5 hours a week. And for Sculpt teacher training, you meet for two sessions for 3.5 hours per week, and that will remain the same for extensions as well.
Thank you so much for sending us your questions, for sharing them. We love being here and getting to talk about our favorite thing, yoga and teacher training.
We appreciate you all for asking these questions so we can help you understand a little bit more about teacher training and why you should choose CorePower Yoga teacher training. It's really changed both of our lives, and we would love to see your faces in our training as well.